All hail Hypnotoad. He is almighty and ever-knowing. He even knows what commander you're building from Eldraine, and he wants in on it. The Gitrog, you say, hey, I'm building Tulane, that's banned, and you're Golgari. Shh, he says. It'll be our little secret. Nobody has to know. Welcome to Gitrog Hypnotoad. Hope you enjoyed that intro. Would you like to play first? Yes, we would definitely love to play first here at the Gitrog Monster Show. As far as our opening hand goes, okay, so a little bit of a decision. So we've got Windswept Heath, Nature's Lore, Vampiric Tutor, Excavator, Windswept Heath. Yeah, I think we can make this work. It's a one-lander, but I think we can do this. So yeah, let's keep on this one. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have an answer for Mana Crypt on turn one. But or actually, if we don't really want to even worry about Mana Crypt, we can just Vampiric Tutor for like Ancient Tomb, and that'll be Enchantress Presence, and then we can go. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. So. And all right, so we're playing against a friend of the channel too, so hopefully we have some fun. Let's go and go for a Windswept Heath. It always makes me, puts a smile on my face when people are like, hey, I just got done watching you, so it's always cool. Let's go ahead and crack Windswept Heath. We're going to grab ourselves a Bayou, get that Bayou down, go for Vampiric Tutor, and then that way we can go for Ancient Tomb, and that'll really open us up on mana, and we can go for Enchantress Presence and really start to have some fun, so... let's put Ancient Tomb on top of our library, and then pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're playing the Gitrog monster himself. He wants in on whatever commander deck you're building. And even though he is green-black, if somebody says something, just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, everything fits by the commander rules. So Gitrog, Death Touch. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a land. Sacrifice the Gitrog monster unless you sacrifice a land. We get to play an additional land. And then whenever a land is put into the graveyard, we get to cash in a card draw, which is pretty nice. Always enjoy that. Let's go Nature's Lore. And yeah, it helps if we tap down for green. But yeah, we're going to be pretty aggressive on this one. We're playing against Sram, so typically with Sram, yeah, Sram can get off to a pretty explosive start sometimes. So let's go Nature's Lore. That comes into play untapped, but there's not really anything that we need to do for 2. So we're going to grab Ancient Tomb. We're going to have that come into play. Not going to pay 2 life. And then pass it back over to our opponent. So we're playing against Sram. Senior Edificer. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. So there we go. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, MTGOTraders. If you want to be eaten by Gitrog, head over there. That's a 5-star customer right there. We will treat you very, very well over at MTGOTraders. Give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com. Use coupon code JOLT for 10% off anything off the website. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to contribute to that, there's a link down in the description below. And if you can't do that, hey, no problem. Just tell somebody about the channel. I greatly appreciate it. So there we go. Let's go. Well, actually, okay, so we go Excavator. That'll allow us to at least kind of slow our opponent's roll swinging into us, and then we can play Windswept Heath out of the graveyard. I think that sounds pretty good, because typically with Gitrog, you want to do a little bit of setting up. So let's have Ancient Tomb come down, or at least tap down Ancient Tomb. We're going to have Excavator enter the battlefield. Let's go Windswept Heath out of the graveyard. Yeah, that'll be good. And then we can actually make a Nurturing Peatland drop next turn and be able to crack Windswept Heath with Gitrog and play it again. And that'll be pretty good. So, unfortunately, we can't get down Enchantress Presence just yet, but hopefully we can cash in some pretty good card draw next turn, and that'll be exactly what we're going to go for. So, anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. But yes, with Mr. Gitrog Hypnotoad himself, if you're new to the channel, Gitrog is a Voltron green-black Enchantress land deck, and it's a ton of fun to play. It's not busted per se, it's just it's kind of like when you're rolling a snowball down a hill, and once it starts picking up a lot of value, it's just really hard to stop. Now you can beat it pretty easy, spot removal, or especially something like Sword of Feast and Famine. That's not the best thing out there, so we got to watch out for that. But it's a ton of fun, once you combine the Enchantress card draw engine with Gitrog card draw engine. I mean, it is just we end up with this just crazy Gitrog, and it's always an absolute blast to play. So but yeah, and also if you've been a friend of the channel for a long time, Gitrog has been one of my top 5 commander decks that I've played. So pretty cool. So our opponent's not going to, they're going to have Sword of Feast and Famine come down. Not going to go for the, yeah, we're still going to hold off on that activation. So we still have Nurturing Peatland to go for, and then we draw into Lure, which would be pretty good. So let's go for that. So we're going to have Nurturing Peatland come down. Let's go Gitrog Monster. That's going to be 1/2. Let's tap down for Golgari colors. And Gitrog, I just love Gitrog. I think Gitrog is such a unique monster. I mean, like a commander card, and it's one of those cards that like we didn't. It's like nobody was clamoring for Gitrog, but it came out. You're like, yeah, I needed this in my life, and I love it whenever Wizards does that. So, all right, so we're gonna have Gitrog. Let's put these on the stack. Is there any certain way we can stack? I guess we have to put the Windswept. Yeah, I guess Gitrog goes. There we go. All right, so draw. Ooh, Canopy Cover is a wonderful, wonderful thing for us. So let's have Forest come down, and then we can make an extra land drop, and that Canopy Cover is going to be perfect because that's going to allow us to protect ourselves from any sort of spot removal from our opponent, which is going to be very important. So Doom Whisper, we're going to grab another Forest, and then let's go Canopy Cover onto Gitrog Monster, and then we're definitely going to be set to really kind of start going from here. Anything else, let's go and pass it over to our opponent. Now, we do have to watch out for Sword of Feast and Famine, because if you're keeping score at home, our entire deck is green-black. So they've got free swings in, so we're going to have to get the Gitrog Enchantress going pretty quick to kind of outrace that Sword of Feast and Famine. But thankfully, our opponent's kind of stuck on 2 lands at this point right now, and so that'll definitely kind of help us out. Now, with Pure Steel Paladin, yeah, it's just straight up yeah, there's no first strike, double strike, anything like that. So it's just a full 4 dude that they can allow them to untap their lands. Now, we do have to discard a card. Since we do have Enchantress Presence, honestly, I'm thinking about just getting rid of Doom Whisper at this point right now. With Doom Whisper, if we have a lot of life total, that is nice. It's always good to have that. But at this point right now, I'm not entirely sure that's exactly what we want to see. Because if we're going to be doing anything, we want to go Enchantress Presence, and we're going to start casting a lot of these spells. That way we can get our power and toughness up pretty quick. Because I feel like we can race this 4/4 Sword of Feast and Famine pretty quick. So that's what we're going to be going for. All right, so opponent's going to go for Everflowing Chalice. Oh no, that stinks. I've done that before. What happens is you have to click multi-kicker 1 with Everflowing Chalice to get that extra mana. So sometimes it's a bummer when that does happen. So I've done that. You click on it, you tap the mana in Magic Online. So that's a little bit of a bummer. So, but that's Magic Online sometimes. It's not the best. I was going to crack a Forest. That's going to allow us to cash in an extra card draw. But to be honest, that extra mana, I don't really think it would have mattered too much in this particular scenario right now. So let's have Woodland Cemetery. Now we still have, well, we are sitting at 13. We do need to be a little bit conservative with our life total. So let's do this. So let's go Woodland Cemetery, and let's have Enchantress Presence come down. And we are going to take some damage off Ancient Tomb, but I really want to make sure we leave up colored sources for Gitrog. So we're going to have Enchantress Presence come down. Yeah, and if we're going to win, we need to cash in some pretty good card draw. So we're going to crack Windswept Heath. And let's cash in an extra card draw. That's going to be Swamp. We're going to be able to grab that Forest, and there's going to be 2 more forests left in the library. That's all the land drops we can make for the turn. Let's go Talons of Wildwood on Gitrog. That's going to allow us to cash in an extra card draw. And the important thing, and then we run into Enchantress Presence. So that's going to be a 7/7 trample with Death Touch. Now, with Fortitude, we can cash in a little bit of extra card draw. It doesn't give us any power or toughness. Now, what we can do... Now, they're not going to be able to block because of Canopy Cover, so we almost don't need to go for really Lure at this point right now. And if we're going to try to close it out next turn, I think we need to kind of go for Engrothing Enchantress. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're going to have Engrothing Enchantress into the battlefield. Let's go and swing across with Gitrog. We basically have flying. Yeah, it can't be blocked except by creatures with flying or reach. So we're going to swing across for a 7. Just imagine Gitrog just taking a flight out of a forest, this monstrosity. We're going to swing across for 7. That's going to knock our opponent down to 24. That's going to be 7 total commander damage. And then we'll pass the turn over to our opponent. So, yeah, with that Everflowing Chalice, sometimes that does happen on Magic Online. So it always feel bad about it because we knew what our opponent was trying to do. They tapped down 2 mana, and that Everflowing Chalice came onto the battlefield. So, long story short, I just bring it up in a manner to be like, hey, if you're going to play Magic Online, watch out for it. There is a little bit of a kind of learning curve on little interactions like that. Like when I first started playing, I forget which goblin it was. There's a goblin, I think like Goblin Fireslinger. So you click on Goblin Fireslinger to target a creature, and then the way you do it on Magic Online is if you accidentally like click on your creature and click on it twice, Goblin Fireslinger just slings the fire into his face basically. So that's one of the downsides. All right, so we've got the Pure Steel Paladin swinging in. That's going to be Sword of Fire and Ice. That's going to knock us down to 4, and that'll be 2 damage. It's going to put us down to. We'll see where they decide to take this 2 damage. That means we can't go for Ancient Tomb next turn, so we've got to close it out next turn. Thankfully, we do have a lot of card draw. But yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, I don't blame them. That's gonna be 2 damage up top. That's gonna put us down to 2. And that's one of the fun things about playing Gitrog is you want to be aggressive with your life total. So all right, so they're gonna be able to untap their land. Let's go and discard Drownyard Temple because I think that allows us to go. Yeah, look at that. And that's what makes Gitrog fun is that you can just discard a card, but you don't really go down on card advantage. You just kind of access a filter. Ooh. Constant Mist. Okay, there we go. That's what we needed to draw into. And then with Sword of Fire and Ice, protection from red and blue to whenever it deals damage. Okay, so we'll see what our opponent goes for with Nevermore. If they name Constant Mist, and this will be this will be a major metagame call from Nevermore because there's sometimes where if you've seen some of my videos, you kind of know what cards to name, but we'll see what they go for. If they could name Gitrog Monster, which wouldn't be that good, which will be okay with that. But if they name Constant Mist, that'll be free. And it reminds me of when I was playing Unash Value. Okay, Reclamation Sage. All right, so we're good. So Constant Mist is going to allow us to stabilize at 1. We need to be very careful with our life total. That's going to be very important. So let's go ahead and sacrifice a forest. I think at this point, well, we have double green, and we can always play Laying Out of the Graveyard with Excavator. So let's do this. So we'll just go ahead and, yeah, I'll just go and sacrifice a forest. That's fine. All right, so we're going to cash in an extra card. Ooh, Rancor. That's exactly what I want to see. And we run into Cultivate. So let's do some setting up. Let's go Rancor. And Rancor is one of the best cards for this deck because it allows us to very cheaply cast a spell. It's high impact. You can see we're getting a Growthian Enchantress and the other one. Ooh, Assassin's Trophy. Okay. That's going to stop the Sword of Feast and Famine. We're sitting at a 9/7. So we need to leave. We don't want to tap down Ancient Tomb or Nurturing Peatland. And so let's go ahead and make the extra land drop. So that's going to be Forest. And we can make an extra land drop out of the hand. That's going to be Swamp. And then we can bring back Drownyard Temple. So if we're going to bank on Constant Mist, I think at this point, it doesn't matter if we Assassin's Trophy on sword, either of these swords. So swing across for 9. Do we want to pump this up in any form or fashion? I guess, yeah, we just go Fortitude on Gitrog. And then that'll be it. We can still at least tap down Nurturing Peatland if we need to, but we're going to be able to cash in 2 card draw Wasteland, and then we draw into Miri's Guile. Yeah, that'll be good. So we go Miri's Guile. And this is where it really starts to take off. You can see where we're talking about combining that card draw engine with, and Predatory Urge. Oh, yeah. All right, so we're going to go and swing across. Let's push across for 9. And this should have us in 2 turns. So glad that we ran into Constant Mist. So we're going to swing for 9. That's going to put our opponent down. The main thing is it's going to put us at 16 total commander damage. And that'll allow us to go for Constant Mist next turn. All right, so puts them down to 15. And then anything else, pass it back over to our opponent. So we've got Constant Mist. Let's go ahead and discard Wasteland. And that allows us to cash in an extra card draw. Underrealm Lich, okay. And I guess at this point, we'll still hold on to our stuff. Let's just go and get rid of Underrealm Lich. I can't really see us needing Underrealm Lich that bad. So we're going to dump that into the graveyard and then pass it back over to our opponent. So we're going to be able to go for Constant Mist. This is one of the cool things about Constant Mist is that, if we don't run into it, and whenever they attack, yeah, let's do this. So let's go Constant Mist, because it has to deal combat damage in order for that to work. So we're going to buy back. That's going to be green. And then black. We'll sacrifice this swamp, because we definitely have more green in here. So we're going to be able to prevent all combat damage. And the fact that we're fogging out combat damage and getting an extra card draw is such a good feeling. At this point right now, the only thing that we're kind of looking out for would be something like a board wipe. And if they have a board wipe, we still have at least Fortitude, Sacrifice a Forest. We can regenerate the Gitrog monster. So our opponent just said, good game. That's awesome. So with Constant Mist, we're going to basically, with Constant Mist, this is just like an all-star. It's like Spore Frog and Marin. Buy back, sack a land that allows us to cash in a card draw. We can basically missed out Pure Steel Paladin. And I'd love always think, oh, and then Frog Tongue. This is one of my favorite Enchantress cards for Gitrog. So, all right, so we run into constant, we bring Constant Miss back to the hand, and we'll dump a few more stuff. You always got to get Frog Tongue onto Gitrog, and actually kind of does work out with Frog Tongue. First of all, the art's pretty wild looking, and then it has reach. So, and that's pretty cool, and we get to cash in a card draw. So that's kind of flavor-wise, it fits in with the canopy cover that we were going for with Gitrog. Our opponent said missing land drops is bad. Yeah, I do. I kind of feel bad about that. Gitrog monster is kind of hard to get a video for sometimes. So if our opponent kind of has like a clunky start, normally I like to give our opponent a fair shot, but if we have a really good showing of Gitrog monster, we still go ahead and kind of showcase it. Oh, we definitely stacked that out of sequence wrong, because basically that's kind of like a free brainstorm. We're going to sacrifice Force. That allows us to cash in a card draw, and then draw into Misty. And then look at the top 3 cards, and let's see what our opponent's going for. Oh, do we have tap target creature, and they've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, they're gonna exile X. Okay, so it was good that we got down canopy cover on Gitrog monster. That would have been, this game would have been a lot different. You could see how good canopy cover is. I love this card. Yeah, we're gonna use Mary's Guile. Oh, Ancestral Mask. Yeah, we're gonna put Worn Power Stone, Seal Primordium, Ancestral Mask on top. And then we're just going to dump this Ancestral Mask really quick onto Gitrog just to kind of showcase it. This is fun. And this is what makes Gitrog so insanely fun. All right, so we're going to get that last card draw with Midlothian Enchantress. And then once we get Ancestral Mask on there, and look at this. This is going to be all these enchantments. Oh, 25, 23. And if our opponent sees this video, I'm not trying to run the score up. I just wanted to showcase how crazy. Yeah, go ahead and go in there and growth the Enchantress. Get in there, have some fun. All right, so we're going to swing across for 25. That's going to knock our opponent commander damage out and knock their life total out and close the game out. So good game to our opponent. Unfortunately, they ran into a sequencing error with Everflowing Chalice, and they did miss a few land drops. But with Gitrog Monster, once we got down canopy cover, and I can't pop it up. But yeah, with canopy cover, it's really cool. It's just such a fun card. The fact that it gives it's just evasion all in one thing. It allows your creature to fly across. It gives you Shroud. It still allows you to put other stuff onto your creature and really get some good damage in. You know, our opponent got down a Sword of Feast and Famine pretty quick, and we're able to kind of bounce back from that. But yeah, if you enjoyed your time with Mr. Gitrog Hypnotoad himself, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.